I'm gonna urge all of you guys to watch this video of a father whose 15-year-old daughter got raped by a Syrian migrant here in the Netherlands.
I urge you guys to watch this video all the way to the end, because when you see the father speak, your heart is going to break. The scale of the cover-up of this story in order to stop any dissent, any complaints about immigration is just beyond belief. It is morally reprehensible. Listen to the rest of this.
And in this video, this dad addresses the city council and exposes them for the way that they have been treating him and his family ever since this horrific rape happened. And mind you, this asylum seeker who raped his daughter is still free. They never arrested him. The only thing that they did was transfer him to another municipality so he can just go and rape another girl there.
I mean, just proof that the streets are becoming less safe in Europe as a consequence of mass illegal migration, because when they commit crimes, they don't even put them behind bars. Even one of the most morally reprehensible crimes that there is, raping a woman.
But he never was brought to justice. What they did do, though, is they arrested the dad.
What?
They're continuously intimidating the father and harassing him for trying to protect his daughter. They are trying to label him as a troublemaker in the media. And they've even tried to prevent him from giving the very address that you see in the video by contacting the psychotherapist that they appointed to his daughter's case and trying to convince the therapist to convince the dad not to come and speak because it would be bad for him.
That's insane.
This is the insanity, like the level of insanity and the level of evil that we're dealing with. These are the same tactics that we've seen in Rotherham.
Absolutely.
The exact same tactics. They're trying to make the victim into the perpetrator and the perpetrator into the victim. That's also what this dad says when he's visibly breaking down, when he's giving this address. He's asking them, does my daughter's life not matter to you at all? And the answer is no. His daughter's life does not matter to these people because these people want this open border policy. They want this multicultural society in which sexual assaults have skyrocketed, and they want to cover it up when it happens. And that's why they come after the dad.
She's right that this is similar to Rotherham, because what happened in Rotherham, a whistleblower went to the council and tried to shine a light on what was happening to these young girls being horrifically abused. And, well, a report was written, and she was sent on a DEI course, told to, well, on some sort of like anti-racism course or something, because she had the audacity to say what the ethnicity of the perpetrators was in this report that she wrote. And so she was treated like the criminal.
It's sick, it's evil, and I urge you guys to watch this because it makes you wonder, how often has this happened before?
Good point.
How often is this happening? That fathers, mothers, families are harassed and intimidated into silence after their child gets raped or murdered worse by an asylum seeker. It's Rotherham all over again.
Well, we know that families in Rotherham were, terrified because they were told, if you say anything, we'll set your house on fire, we'll break your legs and all of the rest of this. But in this case, it is the authorities trying to silence the victims of a horrendous crime. Let's go to that video of the dad that she's talking about. This is the speech that he was finally able to give. This is going to break your heart, guys. It's horrible to watch. But we have to see it.
Om gebruik te maken van mijn spreekrecht over het ernstige trauma wat mijn minderjarige dochter van 15 en 16 januari moet doorstaan. Het feit dat haar veiligheid niet is gewaarborgd door uw burgemeester en het gemeentebestuur van Maastricht en tevens de manier waarop wij behandeld worden nadat het is uitgekomen wat er is gebeurd is zeer teleurstellend. Mijn minderjarige dochter van 15 jaar oud is 10 januari dit jaar op brute wijze verkracht door een Syrische. Mijn dochter is getekend voor het leven. En dagelijks leven wij met de gevolgen van dit zware delict. Wat een behoorlijke tol van mijn tol van mijn dochter is getekend voor het leven. En dagelijks leven wij met de gevolgen van dit zware delict.
You can see, I mean, we're only just into the start of that video, but you can see how emotional and how traumatized this guy is, let alone his daughter. And he is alluding to there that she will be scarred for life, okay? Raping a young girl, this is not, just, some little minor offense. That will affect her life for the rest of her life. Yet this guy doesn't even face any justice. He's just moved to another area, free to roam the streets, free to endanger the young women of Europe. This is just horrifying.
Wilt u even pauzeren? Kan ik
Poor
een glaasje
guy.
water voor u halen?
Nee.
Shouldn't be having to go through this. That person shouldn't have been in the country in the first place.
Zware delict wat een behoorlijke tol van ons allen eist. Mijn dochter heeft buiten veel lichamelijke klachten ook zwaar psychische klachten. In onze zaak voelen wij ons niet gehoord door het bestuur van gemeente Maasost en bent u, burgemeester, in mijn ogen mede verantwoordelijk. Wij hebben het idee dat de slachtofferrol bij de verkrachter is komen te liggen en de daderrol bij ons als gezin. U en het huidige bestuur bagatelliseert de ernst van de zaak en wil het in de doofpot stoppen. In plaats van medewerking krijgen we tegenwerking. En dat baseer ik op het feit dat de therapeut van onze dochter, aangewezen door de gemeente Maasost, gebeld is door de gemeente Maasost om mij te laten adviseren hier vandaag niet te gaan staan om mijn zorgen en gevoel uit te spreken. Is het leven van mijn dochter, een inwoner van de gemeente Maasost, dan echt zo onbelangrijk voor de gemeente? Is het dan echt zo belangrijk dat ons verhaal stil blijft, omdat het mogelijk zaken aan het licht kan brengen welke nu bewust of onbewust verzwegen dienen te worden?
It is just absolutely unbelievable what is going on here, that the authorities have tried to silence this man and tried to stop him from giving this speech that you are hearing now. Because A, they don't want the truth to be uncovered, they don't want their open border policies and their mistakes to be exposed, but also I think that they try to hide these cases to avoid what they might call community tensions, right? We saw this with the grooming gangs, where they didn't want to tell the public the truth of what was going on, what was the ethnic background of the perpetrators, because they were concerned it might flare up community tensions. They were worried that it might cause racism in society. They think that us peasants are too dumb and undeserving of knowing the truth. It's just horrible. It's not just in England, but across Europe there is just this nightmare of a lack of free speech and a lack of accountability for open border policies.
Overige inwoners van Maasost, om welke reden dan ook, is het dan zo belangrijk voor u en het bestuur van gemeente Maasost om mijn dochter met uw uitspraken in de media nog verder te schaden en haar het gevoel te geven dat zij niet geloofd wordt? Waar is de menselijkheid in dit geheel? In de media word ik weggezet als railschopper en ben ik met veel geweld opgepakt. Ook dit heeft bij alle dokters een behoorlijke impact gemaakt. Dit gebeurde zonder enige aanleiding, tenzij opkomen voor je kind een aanleiding zou kunnen zijn. Als dit zo is, dan moet u zich schamen. Want iedereen behoort op te komen voor zijn of haar kind.
Absoluut.
En hun veiligheid te waarborgen. Het enige wat u belangrijk vindt, is te laten weten dat het om een asielzoeker uit een naburige gemeente gaat en dat hij minderjarig is. Is het dan zo belangrijk waar de misdadige asielzoeker vandaan komt? Is het werkelijke slachtoffer is een inwoner uit uw Maasost, burgemeester? Dat is belangrijk. Hoe kan u benoemen dat de dader minderjarig is, als het DNA niet eens de leeftijd kan vaststellen, zoals bleek uit een vraag en antwoord tussen de heer Bethlehem en de woordvoerster van het COA in de laatste raadsvergadering? Is het dan zo belangrijk of hij meerder of minderjarig is? Mijn dochter is verkracht. Dat is belangrijk. Ik wil u alle vragen, wat als u in mijn schoenen zou staan? Zou u kunnen leven met het feit dat er DNA van de dader is? Bekend is wie hij is, maar hij niet opgepakt wordt en overgeplaatst is met een grote kans op herhaling. Zou u kunnen leven met het feit dat hij vrij rondloopt, terwijl wij gevangen zitten in het trauma wat hij veroorzaakt heeft en dagelijks worden geconfronteerd met de dramatische gevolgen van zijn daad? Dit is namelijk wel wat er van ons verwacht wordt en dat is een ware hel, iedere dag weer. Kunt u met de komst van nog meer asielzoekers de veiligheid van uw vrouw, ouderen en kinderen nog waarborgen? Ik heb voor iedereen een foto. Als jullie willen, mogen jullie die daar bij mij opkomen halen.
Dank u wel.
Wow, I mean, that was just absolutely heartbreaking, and I think made you really realise just the weight of this, how severe this is when this happens to young girls. And I just feel as though the authorities, the governments in Europe at the moment, they do not care. They do not care about the safety of women and girls. We've had a great step forward for women and girls in this country this week with that Supreme Court ruling saying that women's spaces will be protected. So, you know, it's a step in the right direction where you feel like, you know, authorities are starting to care a little bit about women's safety. But I'm sorry, so long as the mass illegal migration continues, we are going to see the world becoming a more and more less safe place for women. And it breaks my heart to think, you know, that dad there is so heartbroken. We could soon have another dad like that. And daughter completely traumatized if this guy goes on to reoffend, because they won't even put him behind bars and make him face any justice for raping a 15-year-old girl. Because, oh, he's an asylum seeker. Got to be nice to asylum seekers. And, oh, he's a minor. You see this time and time again. People who are minors, okay? I understand that age is taken into account in a ruling, okay? But to say that this guy, because he's a minor, shouldn't have to face any consequences whatsoever, it's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. If we are going to have people come to Europe from abroad, at the very, very least, we have to be very strict with law and order, where it is we send a very clear message to these people. If you do not abide by our culture and our laws, and you treat women in a way which is maybe acceptable in your country but is definitely not acceptable in ours, you will face the consequences. You will be behind bars, and or you will be sent back home or somewhere else. Okay, you will not be free to roam our streets. And clearly, in this case, that kind of strict law and order is not happening. If anything, they're siding with the actual rapist and considering them to be the victim here. It's just absolutely beyond belief. Anyway, I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe to Reason for more videos like this.